at 16,724.48%. Actually, in fact, crossing the 52-week high here after experiencing, in fact, a month lower with the kind of benchmark, and now it reaches up to the 52-week high. While we talk about the Nikkei, which is in the red, as per the, in fact, what you can see index on your screens, this is the Tokyo Stock Exchange as well, which can be seen today in the red. All right, Dr. Sharad Kohli is a senior economist, is joining me live on the broadcast. Appreciate you joining me this morning. Always a pleasure to speak to you. And right now, in fact, how we are tracking the markets, it looks like the Asian markets are doing pretty well in green, while the Nikkei Composite shows the, in fact, repercussions and in the red. How do you make an understanding of all these numbers and figures, having a mixed, in fact, reply to how the Trump trade war tariff is going on?
Good morning, Simran. Good morning to the viewers of NewsX. I was amongst the first ones on your channel to say that when these tariffs were announced, Simran, that they are not sustainable, and President Trump will have to go back on them or get a softer stance, eventually. And we are seeing just exactly the same thing happening. First, he paused them for 3 months. Now he's pulled back from the electronic items like mobile phones, laptops, and some electronic chips, and so. He's put them on, he's exempted them, these items. So I think this is having a mixed reaction on the stock markets across the world. You're going to see markets reactions, counter reactions, bouncing back, again sinking. So I think it's going to be a very volatile period for the stock market, until and unless there is a clear direction in this whole tariff saga which is going on from America to rest of the world. So I think the investors need to be very careful. The traders need to be very careful, because you're going to see a lot of sharp movements in the market. But for now, some relief, at least for the electronics, mobile phone chips. So you will see some up movements. There's a company, for example, in India called Dixon's, which manufactures electronic items for a lot of other people. So you might see that upsurge. Some of the other, this is a relief for Apple and Samsung as well, which is being exported into the US. I'm sure President Trump is going to realize that there will be more items which US will have to be buying at a very, very expensive price. And he will have to bend down eventually, because what he did was impractical and impossible. It would have put the American citizens in a real quandary in terms of inflation. So I'm sure he's gradually realizing, I think, the reality of these announcements, or shall I say, he's getting into the realm of these announcements as they sink into the American economy. He's making the changes which I was expecting from day one, although a lot of experts were saying he's not going to bend down, he's going to be adamant. I kept saying he will have to bend down. I'm glad my predictions have come true, Simran.
Well, all right, Dr. Sharad Kohli, thank you very much for sharing these updates and how we are tracking the markets. I'll request you to kindly stay on. And when we are talking about the US market, the Dow Jones stands at 40,212.71. Nasdaq, as I mentioned earlier, is close to 17,000, and S&P 500 is nearly close to 5,400. Dow futures edged slightly higher despite the rising global tensions. Now, the Nasdaq also gained around 0.05%. Now, what do you make of these numbers, Dr. Sharad Kohli? And my honest effort with you to have this conversation is to break it down for the viewers who are right now struggling to make an understanding of how the markets are faring.
Well, I think the markets, you see, they're going up and down, although they are down sharply from their peaks. 26,000 was the Indian Nifty peak, which was way back in September. It has been sliding since then, and the FIIs and the FPIs from Indian markets have been, selling relentlessly. As for the American markets, we have three main markets: the Dow Jones, the S&P, and the Nasdaq.
Well, all right. While we try to restore the connection with our guest, thank you very much for joining us live. And right now, it's time to put our focus to other stories that we are having at the focus. Now, the indigenous peoples